So one particular product marketing goal or strategy, and the most common that we work with at Videco, is that of customer acquisition. So the strategy, for example, if this was a SaaS company, could be get new users, increase ARR. Let's just simplify that. The common distribution for that strategy, depending on whether this is a B2B or a B2C, could be YouTube, could be Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, and TikTok. Yes, even for B2Bs. And you want to begin with distribution in these channels just because the testing and the way to actually measure data is so readily available there. And you then want to go and take that and really amplify with PR where you can. And the PR is going to be a lot more likely to publish. You'd be surprised how much circulation you can get if that actual release includes a video. So just bear that in mind. The actual potential to amplify the effects of what you're doing on social distribution can really, really be improved if you're using video. The style itself that you commonly see for a customer acquisition campaign can be live action or animated, really depends. But the common ones, if we think of our space, you would think of Grammarly, Funnel's huge spend behind their campaigns. Monday.com, one of the more famous B2B examples. Recently, Honey, has put a lot of spend into YouTube as well. So thinking around what those customer acquisition videos look like gives you an idea there. There's a particular example here, and if we go back to some of the things that were important to users in those viewing habits, the humorous aspect was one, and we looked at that for this video with Cascade, where, one of the characters says to the psychologist, we're really scared in our relationship to talk about the S word. And, it leads the viewer on for a while. That's obviously quite a hook. And the S word turns out to be the word strategy, which is very much what Cascade is about. It's about setting goals, OKRs, strategy with your software. So the video itself performed really well. It was a minute long. Most viewers actually viewed all the way to the end, which is unusually high. And it certainly got its fair share of play there, but just an example around how one focus on that aspect there, which is going to be humor, could actually really drive that creative. The learnings across Cascade and other customer acquisition campaigns that we've run is always to actually use cut downs. So there are, no doubt some effort involved when it comes to these campaigns. So you want to make sure that you're getting the most out of each effort. And to do that, you'd use cut downs. So what I mean by that is you'd have the main story. In Cascade's example, it was 60 seconds, but whether that goes up to 90 seconds because you have larger kind of set of product points to tell, that's okay. But just know that you should also be wanting to get a 30-second version of that video, which has a different variant of the story. It might not actually cover the problem as much. It might just have two main benefits that are being talked about, and I'll explain why in a moment. And then you want an even shorter cut down still, which is 9 seconds. So how you'd situate this, for the top of funnel, you want your 60, 90, can be up to 2 minutes to be your long form, okay? Then for your mid funnel, you want to kind of follow that long form with that 30-second version. And that doesn't need to really articulate the problem, okay? In a mid funnel, the user has some understanding or some consideration, so they actually gauge the problem. It's actually more so about going into benefits there for a mid funnel asset. For bottom of funnel, you really want to be going no further than 6 to 9 seconds. So it's almost like a bumper, and you program that for a user that maybe has a double visit on your site, or maybe key landing pages. Like it could be your demo page, it could be a trial, it could be an offer, it could be specific campaign or sign up pages. You really want to have that level of programming if you're doing a customer acquisition campaign. That's really just got to be the basic that you do every single time. As a principle, you have to know as well that the first 5 seconds when it comes to paid spend for video is everything. You should always, and this is going to be the case 10 times out of 10, you need to have a brand mention. So you need to actually have your brand's logo in the first 1 to 2 seconds, even if that's its own frame and then the story begins afterwards. When you come to inventory like on YouTube, which is skippable, or you have inventory appearing in a feed, that 2 seconds is actually going to be really valuable, even if it is for an awareness goal. So just bear that in mind. You also want the specific product name that you're marketing, and believe me, a lot of companies we work with forget this, or they say within the storyboarding stage it wasn't something they considered. It is best practice to do that every single time.